common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now is Senator Scott Brown, the former senator from the great state of Massachusetts. He, of course, also was ambassador under President Trump to New Zealand and a whole bunch else. We are so happy to have you here, Senator. Your thoughts about just this enormous issue of security lapses. Now we're hearing, of course, that there was an Iranian threat also against President Trump. And today we are looking at massive security here like never before that I have ever seen at a convention. And yet we seem to have a Secret Service director who's coming out and saying, well, we did a decent job. We're going to look into it.
Well, first of all, I want to just say hello, and I want to thank John. John was a supporter of mine, and he's a wonderful man, and he's got a great family. And yes, security obviously is a very real issue. It affects everybody. As a result of the Biden policies with the open border, we have security problems in every major city. You have people here illegally that are causing trouble, and they're draining our resources, and basically people are not respecting our law enforcement folks. And what happened with President Trump, I prayed for two presidents, President Reagan and President Trump. And had he not turned his head, call it luck, fate, act of God, we would be at a funeral right now. And it needs to stop. Yeah, complete breakdown, except for the folks that grabbed him initially. I thought they did a solid B+.
Senator, what went through your mind when you saw President Trump walk out here at the Delegates Hall? It was an unbelievable moment. I had tears in my eyes, and you could see even the former president was very emotional.
Well, yeah, I think what's going to happen now with anybody who's had a life-changing situation where you could have basically, as he said, he could be dead, almost a rebirth. Thoughtful, contemplative, appreciative of the second chance. And he said he's going to tone down the rhetoric. He got rid of his speech, and he is going to hopefully unite this country, unlike what you see with the Biden administration.
What is your reaction about J.D. Vance? He just did a walkthrough, actually, here with a lot of security now himself. What's your reaction of him being the VP running mate choice?
Well, his life's going to change. It's good to have some young blood in. He's obviously a military man, which I respect. I did 39 years, and a married man, faithful, family. Their lives are obviously going to change. He will certainly help in Ohio, obviously Iowa, Pennsylvania. And there are a lot of folks. Listen, he is a self-proclaimed hillbilly. A lot of those people don't vote. Well, guess what? I bet there's going to be a major push to get them out to vote.
As a former senator, Scott Brown, here again live at the RNC. There's a lot of word today, like Adam Schiff has come out, and a number of Democrats. You can just sense the panic. Here at the RNC, there's such an energy, there's such a buzz, despite the massive security. What is your prediction? Do you feel very good about the chances of the Senate coming back into GOP hands? It seems like Adam Schiff and others are very worried about that.
Well, don't forget, when I ran, thanks to John and others, I was down by 41 points and ended up winning by 7. It's not over till it's over. And we have a habit, as we were supposed to have a red wave before, we have a habit of kind of messing things up. So I encourage everybody to stay focused. Act presidential, act senatorial, act, like a congressman, and do your jobs, quoting Bill Belichick, New York. And let's make sure we get this thing done. And when it's over and we win, then we can celebrate. You need to get everyone out to vote. We need to stay laser focused, and we need to bring it home.
You talked about the border. One of the things you just mentioned to me, Senator Scott Brown, is also, obviously, tonight is safety and security night. You had mentioned about you would be interested to go back into a Trump administration, even potentially a Homeland Security Secretary. Boy, that's going to be a big job if that were the case.
Listen, I like big jobs, and I was honored to serve. I had New Zealand, Cook, Niue, Samoa, and our interest in Antarctica. They're a Five Eyes country. We deal in intelligence and security. The border is a disgrace. It's almost criminal. And when you talk about the Supreme Court and what the Supreme Court voted, President Biden better be really lucky, because all those people that have been murdered by illegals coming in on his watch, there's a potential that a red attorney general or somebody can bring a claim against him for the negligence associated with that border. Yeah, I would be honored. I would love to have that job, because you need somebody in there who has the experience, who is a hard charger, and is not going to take no from Congress.
Yeah, and that is going to be a lot of work, because right now there was a new report also that they have actually been shipping those who've been coming through California over to Texas. They've been blocking, of course, because Texas Governor Abbott's been doing such a good job. So what is the Biden administration doing? They're now shipping them from California to Texas. You can't make it up.
You can't make this up. The country's upside down, and people are going to have a choice. They're going to look back at 2016, and they're looking at what happened now. In 2016, when President Trump ultimately finished his tour of duty, we had low inflation. The border was secure. Energy, I was paying $1.82 when I got back with my BJ's Costco card when I got back from New Zealand. Obviously, the fentanyl wasn't as bad. Our strategic petroleum reserves were overflowing. We were getting out of wars. We weren't supporting wars. I mean, our allies trusted us. Our foes feared us, and it's completely upside down. Completely.
Well, thank you, Scott
Brown.
It absolutely
is. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep, John, back to you.
Okay,
thank you, John. Love you, man.
Thank you.